Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and we're going to go through our Cape Town trip today. And we arrived in Cape Town on a pretty rainy, cloudy week, which was a bit of a challenge, but we were hoping for some sunshine and eventually we got some. So the first time we arrived at our lovely guest house, there was a lot of wind and the cloud cover was pretty much covering the mountains completely. This is a really beautiful 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom vacation house that had like a fireplace and a pool and the beautiful view out of the deck. So we were really lucky to find this place. It wasn't without its challenges, but those were mostly due to the power situation in South Africa, so it wasn't necessarily about the place itself. You can see it had a full kitchen, it was fully equipped, and we really enjoyed our stay there. You can see how beautifully stunning the mountains are in Cape Town, and even though it was raining the next morning as well, we just headed out. So this is a scratch patch, and we went there to play mini golf, and we also were able to look at semi-precious stones. My youngest is really into them, so it's a really fun place to visit. They have lots of sculptures and different things out of stones, and then this is a huge semi-precious stone patch where you can go through and pick out stones if you're so inclined. And so we had a really nice time there, and then we headed further down the coast towards Boulders Beach where the penguins are, and this is where we stopped for lunch. I'm going to put all of the places, this is Simonstown, where we stopped and where we ate and things like that in the description box if you're interested in finding it out. We had a really nice meal here. So then we headed down to Boulders Beach, which is now a very famous national park because it has a colony of African penguins, and so it's you have to pay to get in. You can see the penguins without paying at some other beaches that are nearby if you wanted to, but we wanted to support the penguins and their habitat, and so we ended up paying and going in. You can see they have a lovely boardwalk, and they keep people on the boardwalk on purpose because they want to make sure that no one disturbs the penguins. So you're not allowed to go up to the penguins or walk around amongst them or touch them or anything like that. They are wild animals and you are respecting them. This guy was having a little snooze, which was very sweet. They kind of just do their thing on the beach and you just watch them along with lots of other tourists. This is another area from the beach that you can walk to. It's another trail, and you can see some of the dens where the penguins live. So yeah, as we headed further south, the sky started to stopped raining. The sky started to get blue. We were heading down to the Cape of Good Hope. This is also a paid entry park that you drive down to the very southern tip of the continent of Africa, and they have this amazing like hiking trails. They have a restaurant there. There's the lighthouse up at the very top, which we climbed up. We also took the funicular, which goes up part of the way, and then you can climb up the rest of the way. I mean, the views are stunning. You can see the amazing vegetation and the coast, how jagged it is and lovely along the ocean. And further down, this is where the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean meet. Dave and I were actually here in our 2005 trip from a different part of the park we drove into, and so it was nice to be back there again and to share that space with our sons. We climbed up to the very top viewing platform and just looked out at the wonderful views. And this is us heading back through the park, heading back up. So it's a pretty good day trip from Cape Town. When we got back to to our vacation home, you can see how beautiful the mountains looked once the cloud cover left, and you can actually see them. On day 3, we went to Robben Island. This is the island that housed the political prisoners under apartheid. Nelson Mandela is probably the most famous of the political prisoners that was held here, and he was held here for 18 years. And it's structured in a really interesting way. A lot of the former prisoners are actually the tour guides. And so our tour guide was a former prisoner, and he took us through and showed us the different parts of the prison. It's very much like a maze as you move through it. And he showed us the different areas that they stayed in. It's very sparse and stark, and all of the former prisoners who want to also live on the island and are the permanent tour guides, and so they are able to live in the little village that is further on. There's also some cells that have different profiles of different prisoners.
Doors of this prison will be opened. They will be escorted out of here into the section next door, that is C section, for them to empty those buckets. Then have a shower themselves. From there, there's something like here. That door always locked. From that grapevine right up to the corner, that was.
And here you see Nelson Mandela's cell. I mean, all the cells very much look the same, but that was the one that Nelson Mandela stayed in. So they had these mats. At different points during their stays, they did have like some other types of furniture, desks and different things like that, but ultimately they were very, very stark. And then there was also these courtyard areas, obviously, where they would be able to go outside and get some sunshine. And then as you're touring the island, you're taken around on a bus. And that bus stops over here where you can see this view of Cape Town. And so the way you get to Robben Island is via a ferry, and it is on the open ocean. So on the way there, the waves were huge. It was very much a rocky ride, and you can see here that this boat is still rocking on the way back, but it was nothing compared to the way there. So once we got back to the waterfront in Cape Town, I wanted to go to the MOCAA, the Zeitz MOCAA, which is this amazing museum of contemporary African art housed in this former industrial building. The architect that transformed this building did an absolutely stunning job. It is just a beautiful, beautiful experience to look at art in this building. It has this central columns that go up, and this stunning, stunning piece is hanging currently in the atrium area. I don't think it's going to be there forever. This is the top floor, which you can go to and go out onto a balcony. And I decided to take the stairs down to floor 5, where I was going to start looking at the art. I did this as a little solo part, which made me super happy to be able to go on my own to this museum and just take my time. There's beautiful textural pieces that I found in one of the galleries. In this gallery, we have these really cool drawings, and then this stunning installation piece of this creature that was just very enthralling to look at. And you'll get a close up here in a second to see the main part of the face. These are beautiful portraits of different South African LGBTQ plus identifying people, and they were really, really beautiful, and then some more stunning photographs as well. the art here was amazing. This A Century of Black Figuration in Painting was just such a colorful and beautifully put together exhibit covering, hundreds of years of African painting, and for everything from, day-to-day life to more politically based works. They really, really knocked it out of the park with this exhibit. This exhibit was called Guilt, and that was one artist. I will put her name up here. And so this was really quite a fantastic museum experience. If you are in Cape Town, I would highly recommend you go to this museum. It also has a really beautiful gift shop, and I'm not really a gift shop person, but their gift shop was quite stunning. So highly recommend this amazing museum. And so we headed back at the end of the day. Got to have this beautiful drive along the coast. You've got the cliffs on one side, the mountains, and then the beautiful ocean on the other side. There's views like this all over Cape Town. That's why people rave about it. And then when we got back, it was a little bit chillier on the mountain because the sun had already gone down behind these trees, but the boys still jumped into that really cool pool and had a swim, even though they said it was really, really cold. And so on day 4, we went up Table Mountain. So this is probably one of the most famous tourist things to do in Cape Town. There's multiple ways to get up the mountain. We took the easy way, which is the cable car. And this is right when you get off the cable car, basically. You get this amazing view right away. And you can hike all around the top of the mountain. It's very flat. It has absolutely stunning vegetation, really interesting rock formations and little puddles of water and different things and different birds as well. The flora and fauna is super interesting. The views you get up here are really, incredible. It is definitely worth going up, and it is uneven ground, so you should be aware of that before you go up. And it can get very windy, of course. And there's also a lot of areas where they're trying to do different scientific experiments and, rehabilitation of vegetation. And there's also a cafe up there that you can go to. And they actually even have a little brew pub, I think, and also a gift shop, but we didn't go inside the gift shop. And this is taking the cable car down. So the cable cars rotate. So that's where you're going to get to see kind of these 360 view as we rotate around. And, it's pretty incredible way to see the side of the mountain. There's tons and tons of trails that you can take to hike up. You can hike up to this part of the mountain or to Lion's Head or to Devil's Peak. There's lots of different peaks, different trails. We didn't really get to explore all of those, unfortunately, but we still, even this was our second time going up, and it's just a really amazing natural sight to see. You can see what a really stunning city Cape Town is. They don't have a lot of skyscrapers. It's a very old city. It was established in the 17th century, so it has a lot of history, of colonial history, obviously, that is super fascinating to view and to see. But I think it's definitely worth going to Table Mountain, even if you decide not to go up the cable car. You should definitely just drive up to this point and check it out. So the Spier Winery in Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is the winery area of just outside of Cape Town, and it also has a university there. So this was just a beautiful winery with grounds. There's 2 or 3 restaurants. There's a really amazing art gallery, which I didn't take video of because the art in there was actually quite moving, but also quite violent, and I didn't want to, I didn't think it was appropriate to take video of it. But there's a lot of really amazing buildings here, again in that kind of colonial style. And then we had a really great meal here at the restaurant, which we're sitting at here. You can sit outside. It's quite stunning, the grounds. They do a really good job with it. And then we went to their bird sanctuary. And you can see here this eagle that we were able to see. It came really close. I was able to get really good video of it. So this is an animal sanctuary. So these animals are, this is a red fox that we got to pet, which was lovely. And these animals are rehabilitated here and taken care of. They had lots of owls, they had snakes, they had bearded dragons, they had tons and tons of different raptor, like big birds. So it was a really fun experience to see these animals and interact with them. The foxes were quite skittish, but we were able to pet them a bit, and it was lovely. Before we left, we just took a nice little walk, and there's this beautiful stream riverbed. So I think they're always expanding the grounds and creating more for people to see when they're there. It's a lovely, lovely place to visit, so I would highly recommend it. Okay, so our day 5, we had one kid that wasn't feeling very well and one kid that was good to go. So we split up. I stayed home in the sunshine, read my book, and the rest of the family went to the monkey and bird sanctuary, which was very close to where we were staying, and had some monkey time. So you can see these lovely little guys were quite playful, and the trainers are able to encourage them to jump on the kids' heads. And so it's quite something to watch, so I'll let you enjoy that. And then at the end of this day, we headed out to the beach. So this was the only time we were at the beach during this trip. It was absolutely stunning, beautiful sunset. There were surfers. We had dinner out there, and it was a really peaceful and beautiful way to spend our last night in Cape Town. So I just wanted to enjoy the last morning with the sunrise hitting the mountain before we headed off. This was the Cape Town leg of our trip, and I will check in again later with another video. Thank you so much for watching.